It's so interesting that my list of things to do in the studio never goes down, and even if I check all those boxes on the list to do and items quickly erased from the page, it's a never-ending story, because next day I have the same things that I need to do, or different things, but still on the list. So I was planning to add those new portraits from Anastasia series to this portfolio, and I mentioned that in my last video, and you know what, I haven't done it yet, because when I finished recording that video last time, what happened, I just immediately went to do other things, and here I am again with the same portfolio and the same artworks that are not inside. So I might do it today, but for now I need to do some other things. I have been doing a little bit of research on art scene here in Dallas, in Texas General, and I came to some conclusions, but I maybe share them some other time. But overall, I have that opinion about what I do as an artist in the last couple of years, especially when the pandemic started, that art actually is dumb. And I even asked ChatGPT what he thinks about this idea of art being dumb. And I got some very generic questions, and I went even deeper into a rabbit hole, asking several different questions, and some of the answers were pretty interesting, and a few of them actually even line up with what I've been thinking in the last couple of years. And not that I want to complain here or anything like that, but I'm just more interested in painting in general as a medium and as a form of expression, and then exhibitions, sales, and everything else becomes secondary. However, I don't want to live with this idea of starving artist. So to me, sales, exhibitions, and anything that goes around it is also important, because as you know, you can quickly predict the career of artists by looking at the record of the exhibitions in the first 5 years after they graduate, and then from then on you can see and tell how that career will progress. And of course there is no one rule to the problem or to the issue or to the passion of being an artist. However, sometimes it's easier said than done. Therefore, focusing only on a business side of art is not going to be good, and focusing only on the art side is also not going to be good, just because if nobody sees your art, at the end fulfills only your walls in the bedroom. And then when you focus in on the business side of it, at some point you lose that integrity with your art, just because you don't have time to do both, unless you scale fast enough that you can hire assistants or company who would do social media for you, things like that. Something that you can create with your art that is sellable or can be pushed by galleries and agents to the point that you can afford somebody else to do the work that takes you away from the art. And that's where the frustrations comes in. It takes me to the point where I think that nowadays maybe we have a problem with accessibility in order to purchase art, as well as pushing your art out of the studio. So the way I see it is that when you look at all the online platforms that promote selling art, for example, let's say 𝐼𝐸𝐷𝐸, going back to Saatchi, Etsy, and all those other things, they oversaturated, and even if you come up with a great idea, you can probably find 10 or at least 10 similar artists who will do or pursue the same type of art as you do. And then over time you become oversaturated unless you have a really strong voice and backup behind your galleries. That can work. However, if not, then you suddenly become just one of those average artists who trying to make it in the art world. Having exhibitions, maybe even having gallery representation. Only those blue chip galleries will have that network of people that will take you always to that next level in your art and your studio career. Because at the end, I want to be in the studio making art, and I don't want to worry about things that are secondary to me, which is maybe a business side. However, saying that, I also think that nowadays those things are integrated, and it's actually sad if you suck at it, or if maybe I suck at it too, I don't know. It brings me to that point of accessibility. As we know, social media became a little bit saturated, everybody looks for its voice. However, I also think that at the end, money rules the world. So if you can sell the art to collectors who will value your work and also promote your work, that's where your wheels start turning really fast. But at the same time, demand that you create for your art becomes less accessible for those people who maybe can't afford, let's say, artwork over $1,000. And that is fine too, because at that point your art becomes luxury. You can think about your studio practice in very different way and form. But then that question brings me again to the accessibility for everyone. When is that breaking point that you become luxury item with your art, and still manage the accessibility for your followers, or you become just that art influencer with a lot of followers but not much things to say in terms of good curators representing your work, galleries who will push you further with your network. And I think that that's something that bothers me as a question, and I'm not really sure if I have an answer to it, and I'm probably searching for that answer. Pace of life that we all have, including myself, is so fast that I'm lacking that time to reflect in order to take maybe my art to the next step. Just because I am still locked with that system that creates bills, creates a demand to pay the bills, and that's like a wheel that never stops. So if I don't scale fast enough, I don't have time and resources to think about that next level. If I'm steadily moving forward, I also don't have enough sources or resources to make even that further investment to push my art into different audience. So in this video, I don't think I solve any problems or even maybe give you any solution to it. I'm not even sure if I make a right question. However, that's all that is in my mind today and in the last couple of years. It comes and go. Just because I haven't found the right solution to how I want to show my art. I don't want to use the word promote because that strictly correlate with selling and then being pushy to almost like distribute your work to the collectors. But what I mean is I don't have the time to see the final goal, which I probably know what it is. I want to be in collections, in art museums, and and I want my work to be in the hands of great collectors. But maybe, even if I maybe see that final goal, okay, so I decided I see that final goal, but I have a hard time breaking down the steps just because I'm not in the right circle of people who can get me there. And that's the answer, and maybe the only answer to the thinking process that I have behind my art studio. So if you don't know me, my name is Bartosz Beda. I am an artist, painter based in Dallas, Texas. I've been here for the last 5 years. The best way to connect with me is maybe Instagram and my website. If you are looking to purchase my work, the best way to do that is to sign up to my newsletter and subscribe to my channel. Make sure to share it with your fellow artists.